my God, it's our third anniversary. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and welcome to the official third anniversary of this little happy accident, this experiment that we did for the first time back on March 14th of 2020. Welcome to my war room, which is actually a room in the house that we call the War Room, where all of my military memorabilia, all my family's military memorabilia is, and also where the bar is. And it's where we get together every Tuesday night at 8:30 to talk about life, to talk about the world. And it all started 3 years ago tonight. We've taken 80 nights in a row at the very beginning. Then we started doing the show every Tuesday night at 8:30 back in June of 2020. We've missed some weeks here and there, but we are at episode 224, and this is our third anniversary. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. If you are new to the War Room, let us know in the comments that it's your first episode, and also let us know where you're watching from. And that way the War Room family, as they have nicknamed themselves over the last 3 years, can welcome you properly. I want to make sure I say what's up to Steven, Mark, Keith, Lisa, Ash is here, Jessica joining us, Lisa's here, Fred is here, and as you can tell, there's also my co-host, my partner in crime, the noisemaker and the troublemaker. And if you're new to the War Room, allow me to introduce you to Wednesday the Goth Pug. That's where you can find her on Instagram. Jessica says, Wednesday, you're so cute. Fred says, don't lick anything weird and wash your damn hands. The phrase that launched a show and a phrase that's on nearly 1,000 t-shirts in and around this planet that we sold for charity, which is one of the many accomplishments that we have had here in the War Room together. Rachel saying, what's up? Michelle is here. Meg says, happy third anniversary. Trina, Roger, will it please stop snowing? So the first thing I wanted to do, hold on, let me figure out what Wednesday, can you stop? So the first thing I want to let you guys know is I didn't know if the show was actually going to happen or not, because I haven't had power and internet all day and literally just got it back about 45 minutes ago. And the way that I do the podcast, the way that the War Room works, the way that MCHQ functions is that at the very least it needs internet because, will you shush? Because I've got the generator, so I have electricity, but without the internet, it's kind of hard. And trying to upload audio and kind of build the War Room and do all the things that I need to do on the hotspot from my mobile phone is a little bit tough. So I was really afraid that we weren't going to be able to do the show tonight. I do want to let you know that I had some surprises and some special things that I wanted to do for our third anniversary. And I had to put the kibosh on that stuff because up until about a half hour ago, I wasn't sure we were going to be able to pull off the show at all. So unfortunately for us, we're spending our third anniversary alone, together, just all of us. And Wednesday, who will not annoy me enough until I give her a cookie. Get down. Can you be a good girl, please? Thank you. Steve says, watching from Los Angeles. What's up, Steve? Welcome to the War Room. So first of all, I got this glass in mail call last week, and cheers to 3 years. So to everybody that's new, joining us here in the War Room, to everybody outside of New England that might not be buried in almost 2 feet of snow like I am right now, to start the show, 3 years. You guys are amazing. Thank you for an unbelievable 3 years. When I go back and look at where we were 3 years ago on this very night, at the start of a pandemic, Tom Brady rumored to be leaving, the St. Patrick's Day parade getting canceled in Boston, just a few weeks before, my old radio station going off the air, and me not having any idea what my career was going to turn into, where I was going to go, what I was going to do. And this one wasn't even 2. Yes, I'm talking about you. And we've been through a whole hell of a lot together. So to start the show, guys, happy 3rd anniversary. I couldn't have done it without you. Mark says the Bruins are on. You mean the Bruins that were the first to clinch a playoff bid, Bruins? You mean those guys? Kevin says, happy anniversary, MC. Tony says Eversource knows about the 3rd anniversary and they make sure that you are up and running. Not Eversource, but trust me, to get the, to get everything back up and running for the 3rd anniversary was huge. Roger says, cheers to 3 years. Donna says, me too. Tito's and cranberry and Sprite for me. I decided because of this beautiful glass that I wanted to have a nice bottle of red wine tonight. It was a bottle that someone gifted to me. It's over there in the cabinet. I can't even remember what it is, but it's delicious. So Betty says, and you turned me onto sangria. Yes. 3 years with no pants, says Keith. I don't mean to even gloat, but we didn't get any snow. So if you're not in New England, you may not know what a nor'easter is, which is a very specific kind of storm that comes this time of year. We've known that there was a nor'easter coming. Last night I did what everyone does. I went to the grocery store and bought all of the French toast ingredients, which is milk, bread, and eggs. And you guys know me well enough by now that we always talk about being prepared for big storms and that kind of stuff, not only in your vehicles, but for the house as well. So I really didn't need to stock up on anything. It was more the fresh stuff, just a fresh gallon of milk, a fresh dozen eggs, and a fresh loaf of bread. And I really didn't need much else. I did, just in case, buy another bag of dog food because she was running low. And, well, I care about her as much as I do me, and I wanted to make sure that she was going to eat. So I went to the store last night, and they were really saying that it depends on where you are, how much snow, if any, you're going to get, because the temperature is right around freezing. And they were saying it could be rain for the city, north and west of the city, higher elevations. It's really going to be a crapshoot. And they were like, you could get anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of snow. I measured it about 4 hours ago, and it was 20 inches that I got at my house. Now, my sister in the city, none. I have friends that are down in Mansfield, none. Friends in Haverhill, they're like, maybe 6 inches. It's unbelievable how different. Hey, you want to come over here? Over here. Wednesday. Hey, over here. It's unbelievable how 30 miles changed from no snow to literally all the snow. Can I have a high five? Thank you. Can you get down? Sit down. Sit. 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 Paw. Sit. Other paw. Thank you. Well, if you didn't get any snow, I got it all for you. So also, if you don't live somewhere where you get snow frequently, I think the Eskimos have, 22 different words for snow. So there's the soft baby powder like snow. And then there's the snowball making snow, which is really wet and heavy. And that's what we got. So I've got a bunch of trees down, limbs down everywhere. The plow guys come through a bunch of times because the snow is so heavy. And because there are so many trees coming down and so many branches, there were a lot of power outages and a lot of internet outages today, which is exactly what happened. George Fernandez says Taunton got an Irishman or about an inch. My dog freaked out trying to pee, says Kathy. 24 in Westminster, exactly like this part of Massachusetts. North Worcester County area got all of the snow. Louise says 27 inches in the Berkshires. Rachel says no pants for me either. Did you run and get your dunks, kid, says Mark. I actually made my own dunks today because I already didn't have power when I woke up this morning. And the generator had already kicked on. And I was just like, you know what? I'm already batting 1,000 with no internet and no power this morning. The idea of leaving the house, I just was like, there's nothing that I really need. I've got a stockpile of Dunks. I actually bought an extra pound of Dunkin' Donuts coffee at the store last night. So I knew I didn't need anything. So I just was like, you know what? I'm not leaving the house. Jonathan says 15 inches in Holden and Jefferson. Heather says, I'm in Leominster and my hedges are flat. So that's one of the things. I can only imagine the damage that I am going to have the damage that I'm going to have to my bushes and my trees in the spring, because there are so many branches down. All of the bushes are just flat. Things like Rose of Sharon that are like 10 feet tall are just flat. It's unreal. So having fun watching the snowfall after smoking a bowl, says Ralph. Walter, start the plow. Got my ice Dunks on the way to work this morning, says Melissa. 0 inches in Seekonk. What snow, says Leo. Rachel says the hubby brought me home some Dunks on his way home from work. Rachel, that's love right there. Seriously. Let's see. Like 10 or 11 inches in Orange. Who is going to the get together? So Keith, we're going to get to the get together. I got all the details on the get together for the War Room. We're going to talk about it tonight. Burrito says 24 inches will always destroy a bush. Burrito, nice to have you back, bud. It's not the same without you. So the first thing I want to do, besides Wednesday, there's no more cookies. There's no more. They're gone. See? No, I don't have any more. There's no more. All gone. I want to go back through this book a little bit, which is like the most amazing thing ever. And it's basically the first 80 episodes, the first 80 nights in a row that we got together starting on March 14th. And episode number 1, the cocktail was a Moscow Mule. My Black Sabbath t-shirt is what I happened to be wearing that night. And also, this is what we talked about on March 14th, 2020, which really wasn't that much. I gave you guys a little bit of a tour of the War Room, including the ISIS flag that I have here on the table, the Medal of Honor book that I have that's signed by 55 to 60 recipients of the Medal of Honor, the coaster from the Barnstormers in Westfield, the 104th Aviation, the skull with the coasters in it, the Iraqi plate from 2006 that I got from the Boston to Baghdad trip. I also showed you guys the red phone and the old World War II propaganda posters that are all up on the wall. Now, if you're new to the War Room or you've joined us since June of 2020, for the first 80 episodes of the show, I did the show on my phone. And for the first 40 something, I just held it. And then we got a tripod and a ring light so that I looked less like the Crypt Keeper on the show with some good lighting. And then when we made the show, a weekly show with my first guest here in the War Room as Mike Shue, that's when we started doing this format of the show with the graphics and being able to put pictures up on the screens and all of that stuff. And so I used to be able to walk you guys around a little bit easier than I can do that now when it comes to the War Room. And so we spent a lot of the early times in the War Room kind of just talking about literally the world that was changing by the hour. The early days of the pandemic, really kind of adjusting to my new reality, which was life without WAF in the early days. Lisa says, watched the episode again. So all of the episodes are up on my YouTube channel and up at mistresscarrie.com with descriptions, and all of the videos are up there. Penny says, time flies. Jessica says, my aunt in New Jersey says, not a lot of snow, very light all day. None of it stuck. Well, there you go. You got all fancy schmancy, says Melissa. Exactly. I miss the handheld days. Not going to lie, says Brianna. My arm does not miss those days, Brianna, but Brianna is the one that actually put together the group that gets together here on Facebook. And that was really one of the things that kind of showed me that we were really doing something special, is that you guys wanted to be able to organize on the nights that we didn't do the show. And when I started to see the special relationship that was developing within the comments of the show, because, you know, it's kind of crazy to think back to the way the world was then, is that we, as a society, as a community at large, were adjusting to the news as it was changing about COVID. The first case in the United States, the first case in Massachusetts, the first death in the United States, the first death in Massachusetts, the way that things were changing, that people started to support each other in the comments, and people started to talk about their fears and talk about their losses and talk about the pre-existing conditions that made them nervous and talk about all of the things that were going on, and also really striving to find good things to talk about, good distractions, talking about movies that were on demand that you could finally catch up on, making suggestions for streaming shows to pass the time, talking about how you were adjusting to working from home as people started to get sent home to work by their companies. Other people, I remember in the early days, a lot of us talking about navigating the unemployment system and talking about health insurance fears, how to explain to kids what was going on. These are all things that we were doing within this group of people to be able to support each other in what was and still is insisted upon as being a positive, as often as we can while discussing difficult situations, to be positive and constructive and supportive, because the world was so polarized and so scared and acting from a place of fear. And so we decided to get together, and it wasn't even a decision. Like I say, it was an accident that we started getting together to kind of hash these things out as like a microcosm of society together. Michael Voorhees says 3 years of cocktails in the war room. Wow. Michael says, watching the series X-Ray on Amazon Prime right now. Good to watch. See, it was stuff like that that helped people kind of adjust. I remember turning you guys on to some of my musician friends that were doing live stream acoustic sets for tips on Venmo to try and make ends meet, because they're working musicians that were used to being able to play gigs. Brianna said, we are always available to talk, to give laughs, to tell us about your life, and be there for each other in a group 24/7. And that was something that, even though we didn't realize at the time, because I think it took a while to kind of establish that the War Room was turning into something real, something that was going to end up with a logo and t-shirts and a 3-year anniversary and live events and charity events. At the beginning, it was just, hey, I'm home. What are you guys doing? Do you feel like I feel? How are you? Let me tell you how I am. And Tracy says, if it's your weirdness, it's okay. Jessica says, that's why I still don't watch the news. Mark says, I'll never forget the riots outside my apartment in Boston. Mark, I remember that. And you were chiming in, talking about what was going on, and other people were watching the news and the live reporting of what was going on outside your apartment. And people were chiming in saying, are you okay? Do you have a way to get out of your building? Do you have a place to go? Do you feel safe? Are you scared? Do you think you can protect yourself? And offering you kind of safe passage and a place to stay. And it turned into this unbelievable experience to watch. And I still bump into people that maybe don't watch the War Room anymore because they've gone back to work and they're working, or their kids are back in their sports and they're just not around anymore, and their lives have kind of gone back to normal, but that will come up to me and say, you know what, for a couple of months while I was home, I looked forward to hanging out with you. And I will always remember that time in the early stages of the pandemic, spending it with you. The way that people still come up to me and say, in the days and weeks following 9/11, I remember listening to you on the radio, or as we approach the 10-year anniversary of the marathon bombing, that people talked about, listening on the radio to kind of find out in the early hours of it what was kind of going on. And then once we kind of figured out what was going on, to kind of have a place to go to like vent and talk about it, especially during the week of the lockdown in Boston. And I hate the fact that it takes these, tragic circumstances to galvanize us as a community. But the fact that I'm part of how you adjust and cope to these extremely traumatic, extenuating circumstances and events that are happening in all of our lives is an incredibly special thing that that we're able to go through this together. And, the audio I have from 9/11, it's hard for me to listen to. A lot of it's still on cassette. But when I do go back and listen to some of it, it makes me feel like I was there yesterday. That, to be able to go back and listen to how technologically limited we were, really not having access to social media the way that we obviously do now. Even 10 years ago with the marathon bombing, we didn't have as much access to the stuff that we have as we do now. And so when you go back and look at especially those early 80 episodes of The War Room, it is 100% a time capsule of that era in the United States, in the world, in New England, in Massachusetts. And we captured it all in real time on video, which is kind of insane. Ryan says, hey, you guys, happy anniversary, everybody. Coral says, Hometown Sessions was one of my favorite things. The early COVID shutdown. Sully was so entertaining. That's where I learned about your broadcast as well, says Carol. Yeah, and you know what's funny is that when I talked to Sully more recently about, and I think a lot of people started to go, okay, I'm going to start a streaming video show. I'm going to start a video show. I'm going to start a podcast. I think a lot of people didn't realize the work that it takes to put them together. And Sully will tell you, like, it just got to the point where it was so much work, booking the guests, getting the video ready, building the graphics. I actually went up to his house for a Hometown Sessions and to kind of see the little studio that he built for it and the production that was behind it and the camera angles and the lighting. And since then, I think a lot of people that launch podcasts that have kind of died on the vine, people that were doing video shows that they stopped doing, there's a lot of amazing creativity that came out of that era. And it's a testament to you guys and the community that you have built within this show and this kind of mechanism, that 224 episodes and 3 years later, that while a lot of other shows have gone by the wayside, that we have still found a way to continue to get together and to talk about the day's events and to talk about what's important to us and to celebrate more good than to mourn bad now, which has been refreshing, to say the least, that we can come here and talk about really good things as opposed to knowing that literally we were going to be coping with bad news, sadness, sickness, and death every night together here in the War Room is kind of special. Michelle says, we're one big family and I love having you all to share the good news and the bad news. The good news is a little Miss Cutie Pie River Rose, our granddaughter, is crawling now. Now, we were getting together long before Michelle even had a granddaughter named River Rose. And so it goes to show you that not only have we lost some amazing people in our lives, and I know I've lost some. I've lost people that I was close with. I've lost people that I was estranged with. And you guys have been the support system through that. But there have also been so many things to celebrate. There have been so many families that have expanded, so many adoptions that have gone through, so many grandchildren that have been born, wedding anniversaries. My own wedding happened and you guys found out about it before anybody. There's just so many things. You guys found out when I got engaged before anybody. And so to think about all of the things that have happened in the last 3 years. You guys attended a birthday party for my dog on her second birthday because there was literally nothing else to do. And thousands of people joined me right here on this very Facebook page to celebrate the second birthday for my dog because we were looking for anything to celebrate. And next month, she's going to turn 5, which is kind of insane. Penny says, I remember watching the Dropkick St. Patrick's Day live stream. It was so much fun being stuck at home. Well, they're doing it again, this Friday night. They're streaming worldwide from the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, which 3 years ago, that venue didn't even exist. Never mind being able to go to a live concert, but the venue didn't even exist. And now not only does it exist, not only that live concerts are back, but the Dropkicks actually really found an unbelievable way. And I'm still working on it for this show to be able to stream on more than one platform, to be able to stream on YouTube. I've thought maybe eventually that we'll take the show to stream directly to YouTube eventually, because there are still people that have maybe Instagram but no Facebook, that have TikTok but no Instagram, that are on Twitter but not Facebook or whatever. And so to be able to stream the show live on YouTube, I think would open it up to those people that still don't really use Facebook all that much. But I've been hesitant about moving the stream just because it's just become such a special thing. And I think if I ever do decide to move the show live to YouTube, it'll be something that I give you guys plenty of notice about, to make sure that you've got a YouTube account and to make sure that you're subscribing to the Mistress Carrie channel so that you'll be able to interact as frequently as you can here on my Facebook page. Melissa says, my first grandson was born March 18th of 2020. His favorite song is Itsy Bitsy Spider. Yeah, like born literally a few days after the War Room started, which is kind of crazy. Hi, Annie Joan. Annie Joan texting me earlier asking if I had power and internet back yet. Just got it back. Let's see. I still have party hats ready for numero pago cinco, says Brianna. But you would lose your Meta exclusivity. Yeah, but Will, the thing about like exclusivity is that, while there are certain things that you do want to be able to keep kind of the War Room family, you also want to be able to welcome people. And as the podcast grows, again, because of you guys, the podcast getting announced and launched right here in the War Room almost 3 years ago, is that you want to make it as accessible to everybody as you can. That the War Room family has a right to grow further than it already has, which is pretty spectacular how far it's grown already. Jessica says, are you planning on giving Wednesday a birthday party? They do make dog ice cream. Is April 11th a Tuesday? Because that's her birthday. It just so happened that because we were doing the War Room every night back in 2020, that we were able to have a birthday party on her birthday. So unless she has her birthday fall on a day that we're doing the show, Rachel says Cinco de Pago. That would be Wednesday's 5th birthday. You could broadcast on both, but keep up with both chat comments. Well, the thing is, the way that all this software works is that you can only stream live on one. So the way that I've been doing the War Room is that I stream live on Facebook and then upload the shows on YouTube after the fact for people that want to go back and watch the episodes after they stream live. And so if I were going to stream on YouTube, I wouldn't be able to stream at the same time on Facebook. I could embed the YouTube player on Facebook, but you wouldn't be able to comment where I'd be able to see it through Facebook. I would only be able to see the comments on YouTube. The way that bands like the Dropkick Murphys are able to stream on multiple platforms, that technology is super expensive still. The technology that I use here in the War Room only allows me to stream on one platform at a time. Brianna says April 11th is a Tuesday this year. Then we're having a 5th dog birthday. Yes. We not only got the 3rd anniversary of the War Room, but we're getting Wednesday's 5th birthday to fall on Tuesdays. Thank you for checking, Brianna. That is amazing. Kathy says another party for Wednesday. Yes, April 11th is a Tuesday. Stop copying me, you freak, says Keith. He's talking about wearing pants or not. Which gives you a better result, says Lou. Well, I haven't tried streaming on YouTube. I do stream the monthly private streams for the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass on YouTube directly. And it seems to work just as good. I use the same software. I don't have all the flashy graphics and the intro music and everything. It's a little more stripped down and a little more intimate with just people with Mistress Carrie Backstage Passes. But it works the same way. That if you have a YouTube account and you're signed into YouTube the way that you have a Facebook account that you sign in now, that you're able to comment in real time the way that I can read your comments now through Facebook. So nothing on my end would really change. What would change for you guys is rather than watching on Facebook, you would watch on YouTube. And that I would tweet out the link to watch the show live on all my social media pages. Nothing really other than that would really change. So I have put a lot of thought about transitioning the show from Facebook to YouTube just to hopefully be able to get to those people that don't have active Facebook pages, that don't really use them all that much. And also the algorithms sometimes don't even alert you guys anymore that I've gone live. Whereas before, 3 years ago, it would chirp everybody that I was going live on Facebook, and now it doesn't. Brianna says, just checked, the birthday hat fits perfectly still. I know what I'm wearing. Oh my God, I love you. Voorhees says, 9 p.m., I'm off. Got to be up super early tomorrow. Sorry to take off early. Nice to see everyone. Congrats on 3 years. You've come a long way from streaming with your phone. Thanks to you, Voorhees, and everybody else. So sorry to let you go, but you got to get some sleep. So get a good night's sleep tonight. Good night. Thank you for hanging out with us. Carol says, I think it's time to get a backstage pass, although I'm definitely not a local peep. Oh, says Coral, not Carol. Sorry. Coral, you get together with us every month. You kind of find out about podcast guests early. We'll talk about the backstage passes in the show coming up. I am going to wear a birthday hat too, but just a birthday hat and a birthday suit, Keith. You're wearing a birthday hat and birthday suit. Lou says, okay, that makes sense. Yup, I never get the live notifications anymore, says Trisha. It's really weird about the algorithms, the way that they work. So I don't know, but I have really thought about it because the YouTube channel is growing now. Not only because every week I upload the War Room episodes, but also the podcast episode propagates to YouTube automatically now. So not only do the sit reps propagate automatically to my YouTube channel, but the weekly podcast episodes do as well. We should Zoom that one. Let's see. Keith, wrong head, Keith. That hat goes above the shoulders. Okay, drinking with no pants and a party hat. Says Kathy. So I just go back and think about all of the amazing things that we've been through. And I just am so grateful when I go back and think about the early stages of the War Room and being unemployed and the world kind of shutting down and being fearful of things. I also learned about my mom's Alzheimer's diagnosis, and it was something that you guys kind of helped me through. 3 years ago, my mom was still driving and working. And 3 years later, she can't be left alone. 3 years ago, even though my father and I were estranged, he was still alive. You guys helped me process that. I have lost quite a few dear friends to medical issues and, just some other horrible circumstances. And you guys have helped me through all of that. The volunteer days that we did, which I'm bringing back, by the way, and I'll talk to you guys about that coming up as soon as this summer, that we were able to get people together to volunteer in the height of a pandemic. That we were able to raise, $5,000 for charity, buying the first ever Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts that I packed up one by one on my dining room table. It's just kind of amazing when I think about all of that. Okay, drinking with no pants on and a party hat. I didn't miss a notification when I was subscribed to Sully's Hometown Sessions. He was using YouTube. That's the thing. It's going to be very interesting. All of the algorithms, even for YouTube, have changed as well. So Michelle wants to know how mom is. She's blissfully unaware. She likes where she is. She's doing okay. That's all I can ask for, you know? You guys talked me through my husband's deployment, all 18 months of it, finding out and preparing for him to deploy, planning a wedding in 13 days, celebrating my engagement and my marriage, and then recovering from dropping him off at the airport, knowing that he was leaving for 18 months. And you guys keeping me company through all of those 18 months and then helping me to celebrate his return. There have been a lot of amazing things. And when I go back to think about all of it, it's unbelievable to me, everything that we've been through in 3 short years. Blackhawks are up 1-0 on the Bees. Thanks for the update, Mark. Special thanks to, says Emmanuel, to John on Instagram. I will be forever in debt with him for all of the hope that has come from my rescue. Thanks a lot to his service, and remain all the best. Yeah, we've all kind of been there for each other in good and bad ways, and to really sit back and look at 3 years is kind of spectacular. Which brings me to an amazing announcement. I've been teasing you guys about it. And if you have a Backstage Pass, you already know. I've posted a little bit about this up on social media. But we are getting the War Room together officially. And I'm really excited about this. This event, I think, is going to serve a lot of purposes all at once. And I'm really hoping that all of you guys are going to join me. So, along with my friends at the Vernon Hill American Legion Post 435, which is in Worcester, right on Providence Street, we kind of brainstormed an idea. And this is a lot of things kind of wrapped up into one. So first of all, I'm speaking to the veterans community first. The Vietnam veteran community has now gotten to the point where they are now the lion's share of the VFWs, the Legions, the AMVETs. As we've lost so many World War II veterans and continue to lose, the last survivor from the USS Arizona just passed away. And so the lion's share of membership for the American Legions, the AMVETs, and the VFWs is Vietnam veterans. And what all of those veterans organizations are having an issue doing is reaching the post 9/11 veteran community. And so what's happening is that Legions, AMVETs, VFWs, they're closing. So not only are you losing that local community building, but on a grander scale, which is more and more important than ever, those groups wield significant lobbying power in Washington, D.C. to be able to lobby on behalf of the veterans and the veterans community to make sure that the promises that were kept during wartime, or the promises that were made during wartime, are kept during peacetime. To make sure that the promises after 9/11, the promises after the invasion of Iraq, the bloodiest battles in Afghanistan, that when you guys are in your 40s and 50s and 60s and you are dealing with health issues, the way that our Vietnam veterans, Korean War veterans, World War II veterans are dealing with them now, that there is a lobbying arm and an organizational structure to lobby on your behalf. And so what's happening is there's a disconnect between the post 9/11 veteran community and a lot of these organizations, and their numbers are dwindling dramatically. And it's like, you know, the Poison song, like you don't know what you got till it's gone. And losing that ability to lobby, to organize, to wield power, to get behind presidential candidates, to demand treatment and benefits. It's going to be one of those things that when it's gone, it's going to be really hard to get back. And trying to reach this new generation of veterans, how do we do that? So that is one of the missions. Mission number 2 is to support veteran-driven initiatives. And so one of the ways that we're going to do that is we are going to support veterans in their post-military endeavors. And so the reason why we are putting this event together is to support the Legion, to give the War Room community, both veteran and civilian, a venue for us to get together, a place, a reason, a central location for us to say, okay, we can finally get together as a group. We've got a place to go. This is when it's happening. Everybody get together and go there. And whether you're a civilian or a veteran, we're going to A, get together. B, we're going to do a special Saturday night episode of Cocktails in the War Room. And C, we're going to support veterans the way we in the War Room always say we're going to, whether you're a part of the veterans community or a member of the civilian community. So our friends at Regimental Spirits, that was started by one of the guys that protected me in Afghanistan, one of my AAF to Afghanistan guys. This is his business. He is going to be there. There's going to be commemorative whiskey cocktails that are going to be poured by veterans that are going to be there at the Legion. And also, you guys know him from the podcast, Andy Biggio, who wrote the book, The Rifle, about the M1 Garand and the World War II veterans that carried it. He is bringing World War II veterans with him to sign copies of the book. So Regimental Whiskey is going to be there. The War Room's going live for a special episode. Andy Biggio is going to be there. There's going to be live entertainment. There's going to be I believe, a taco truck, but food trucks are going to be there. We have put out the invitation specifically to guys that I was with in Iraq and Afghanistan in 2006 and 2011 to give them a reason to use this event as a reunion. So you guys will be able to meet some of the Blueberry Cobbler guys in person. And we're doing it to support the Legion. So I believe it's going to be $10 to get in, and the money supports the Legion. There are also going to be door prizes that are going to be raffles of concert tickets. I think they're speaking of Poison and Bret Michaels. There's going to be Bret Michaels tickets. There's going to be Jelly Roll tickets. There's going to be Nickelback tickets. There are going to be a bunch of different concert tickets that you can win. And there's also going to be some live acoustic music as well. And it's going to be an excuse for us all to get together, for civilians to come and support our veteran community. For veterans, this is the rule for the veterans joining us in the War Room. If you are a veteran, I'm going to put this challenge to you. I want you to reach out to someone you served with that is still somewhat local, that you think about often, but you have not talked to in a while. And I want you to reach out to them. And this event, by the way, is not only on Post 35, the American Legion's Facebook page as an event, but it's also up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And I'm challenging every veteran to send an invitation to someone, a battle buddy of yours that you haven't seen in a while, maybe since before COVID, and say, we keep commenting on each other's Facebook page, maybe texting each other every now and again. This is our excuse to get together for that drink, that Coke, water, whatever it is. We've been promising we were going to get together. This is the reason. War Room civilians, this has been the reason and an excuse for us all to get together as well, not only as a community within ourselves, but also to come out and support the veterans that run the Legion, to support Regimental Whiskey, to support Andy Biggio and get a copy of his book signed if you don't have one already. This event, I want them to have a traffic jam at the American Legion. I want them to be like, I don't know where we're putting all the cars. Kind of a problem. Because the idea is that if we can do this once, maybe we could make it a thing we do a few times a year where we're bringing in other veteran businesses, where we're supporting other veteran endeavors and initiatives and giving us an excuse as a community to get together. So here's the details. It's going to be at the American Legion in Worcester, post 435. It goes from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's not too late. It's on a Saturday night. We're going to do the War Room the Tuesday before right here to remind everybody and get everybody galvanized and organized. Then we're going to do the show live from 7 to 8, live War Room like we did at the boat. And then we're going to take the following Tuesday off as a day of rest. Brianna says, I don't get Patreon notifications anymore. I've checked every setting multiple times. I have to check when I remember. That's really weird, Brianna. I don't understand why you're not getting the notification. Like I said, all of these social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, their algorithms change so often that it's really hard to keep up with making sure that the notifications go out. I'm going to try and do and promise to do a better job of posting more to remind people more, but I don't know why you're not getting their verifications. What you can do with this event specifically, and any event that gets put up on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com, if you open up that event off the website, you can actually add it to the calendar in your phone. And what I will do is go in, what I can do is set alerts that will set off an alert on your mobile phone. So if you add it to your iCal, if you add it to your Google Cal, if you add it to your Outlook, whatever reminder, whether it's a week ahead, a day before, I can set alerts to go off to remind you because they'll be on your phone. So maybe I'll do that for this. But anytime I add an event up on the event calendar, the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com, you can actually go and down at the bottom, you can say add to calendar, and then there's a drop-down menu depending on what calendar you use to organize your lives, and all of the options are right there. So let's try that. Let's see. Oh, hold on. My comments need to catch up. It is what it is. I never remember our Patreon Sundays. I need to set a reminder. Must wear War Room shirts that night, especially if you've got OG War Room shirts. You got to wear them because I want the War Room family in for. I want just as many of the veterans that join us here in the War Room to see all the civilians that are part of the War Room community that are out there in force. And I want to show the people that are coming to support the Legion that aren't active members of the War Room, I want them to be overwhelmed at the presence of cocktails in the War Room this day. I have been reaching out a lot to people that I met overseas and sending this flyer as just a picture, texting it, going, hey, you've been promising we were going to get together. I'm not taking no for an answer. This is when we're doing it. You better be there. Perfect motorcycle destination. Perfect destination to take out the convertible. If you've got a summer car, some kind of hot rod, perfect destination for that. I really want to be able to start getting us together maybe quarterly, and to be able to show the power that this community has and the things that we can do with it that are positive and loving and supportive, whether it be for veteran-owned businesses, whether it just be for the greater veterans community, whether it just be a place where you know you're going to come out and just be surrounded by friends. I think it's going to be spectacular. So I'm really excited. Promise me you guys are going to be there. And if you are a civilian here in the war room and you have a friend that is a veteran or someone that's in the military now that maybe doesn't join us in the war room, extend the invitation to them and be like, there's going to be a ton of veterans there. There's going to be ticket raffles and food and music. We're going to do the War Room live for anybody that absolutely can't make it. You'll be able to watch because we're going to live stream from 7 to 8. But the rest of the night is going to be just us hanging out, and it's going to be an absolute blast. MC, are you riding there? It's going to be a little hard to bring all the War Room gear and the merch stuff and the banners and the tents and the tables and all of the stuff that's required on my motorcycle. So no, I'm probably not going to be riding there. I'm going to have to get new stickers and pipes for the scooter. The edibles just kicked in, says Trina. Do you buy tickets to get in at the door? Yes, just get your tickets. I don't believe the Legion is selling the tickets ahead of time online. I let the Legion set up the only event page on Facebook so that there's not confusion. But there is a link. If you go to the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com, go to May 6th. And when you open up the event on my calendar, there will be a link to the Legion's page. I don't believe they are selling tickets in advance. I think it's just going to be something where you just toss $10 at the door. And the money is going to go to support the Legion. And I think we might do a 50-50 raffle, but we want to do everything we can to support the Legion and to, support Andy Biggio. So be prepared to go. And if you don't have a copy of his book yet, that you can get a copy of his book. Andy's going to be there signing copies. And some of the World War II veterans that are featured in chapters of the book are going to be there signing copies, which is part of the reason that the event is 5 to 9. We wanted it to be accessible to those guys as well. The bar is going to be open. The guys from Regimental Whiskey are going to be there behind the bar making specific Regimental Whiskey cocktails. We need to get you a motorcycle trailer, maybe in the shape of a coffin. Melissa, I actually have a coffin, or actually it's a casket that's painted like the bike, but the trailer wouldn't be enough to haul all this gear that I need to bring. Cash at the door, I believe so. A lot of the Legions sometimes can process credit cards. I think they might have an ATM there. To be safe, I would just bring cash with you. I just think it's easy. I do know that there's like a 24-hour gas station, convenience store, and Dunkin' Donuts like across the street that I'm sure is an ATM. If not, let's see. I am in for a live version of my version of the anthem. Says Richard Fitz. So I got to find out what they are going to have available for PA and stuff, because the Legion has a guy that was supposed to be playing acoustic and stuff. So Richard Fitz, I got to let you know, or reach out to the Legion direct. Either way. Let's see. Rachel says she needs a hearse painted purple and black to haul the War Room stuff. Can you imagine how amazing that would be? A Mistress Carrie hearse. That would be unbelievable. Jessica says they don't even let you pump your own gas in Jersey. No, they don't. I believe they're the only state, but they employ a lot of people that do pump gas for you. Is there an ATM? Yes, there is an ATM if you don't bring cash. Thank you, Stephen. Let's see. Can I please wear Wednesday in a harness on my chest with earmuffs this year? Auntie Bree will pug sit. We'll see how she does. It's going to be a little bit crazy of a day, but we'll see how. Let me make the decision as we get closer, because it's really close to a lot of the highways, which is a great location for this Legion. But sometimes I don't want to have to worry about where my beloved dog is. Although right now I don't have to worry about where she is at all, because she's right there unconscious, which is where she usually ends up once she realizes that all of the cookies are gone. So super excited. I've been teasing that this event was coming, The details are now here. Get it on your calendar, make plans, invite your friends, share it. RSVP on the event page for the Legion so they have an idea of how many people are coming. Flood the event page with comments. Warn them that Cocktails in the War Room is coming. It's going to be a blast. Jessica wants to know, how many tattoos do you have? Half dozen, maybe? A lot of them you can't see, though. Anyway, the treats are gone, says Lisa. Exactly. She would be well taken care of. Her aunties and uncles would watch over her. Oh, I know you guys would. Whether or not her aunties and uncles stole her and took her home is another thing. Can I suggest a hotel? I know there's some places in downtown Worcester that aren't that far. I think downtown Worcester is maybe 5 or 10 minutes away. I think there's a Holiday Inn Express that's like right around the DCU Center, but you're still going to have to get on the highway for a few exits to get there. A hotel close to the Legion, I don't know, but let me reach out to the guys at the Legion and see who they would suggest. I mean, it's in Worcester, so it's not that far. But if you're looking for a hotel because you plan on drinking and you don't want to drive, I don't know. Jessica says, I love your purple hair. Thank you, Jessica. Hotels in Auburn, says Michael. Thanks for the assist on that. All right. So super excited. We're all getting together May 6th. All right. Let's talk about the podcast, shall we? Last week's episode, Billy Sheehan from the Winery Dogs, episode 144. If you didn't check it out yet, and yes, I'm still promoting the bonus episode in case you guys didn't know, because if you don't subscribe to the podcast, you don't get the bonus episodes. But Billy Sheehan from the Winery Dogs was my guest last week on episode 144 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Billy Sheehan was a bonus episode about 18 months ago, and I caught him while he was on the road in the Northeast touring with the Winery Dogs, and we were able to talk more about everything from his bass guitar collection to kind of the distribution of work and the creativity behind a power trio like the Winery Dogs. We also talked about his affinity for touring on a tour bus. He actually loves it. Says he gets the best night's sleeps when he's in a tour bus, that he actually loves being out on the road. We talked about his cats. He's very passionate about his cats and went on and on and on about his cats, which was amazing. And I love it, because I had to ask him the Geezer Butler question about his pets. And so if you haven't checked out episode 144 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, it features Billy Sheehan from the Winery Dogs, and it's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. I am super excited about this week's guest. He is new to the podcast, has not made an appearance on the show yet. However, his bandmate, Jerry Cantrell, has. This week, starting at midnight tonight, episode 145 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, super excited to announce that William Duvall from Alice in Chains is going to be joining us. And one of the reasons that he's coming on the show is he's collaborating with the band The Who, not Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, The Who, but the Mongolian folk band that was on the Retaliators bonus episode. He is singing on a new version of This Is Mongol, which is the latest single from The Who. And so I was able to catch up with William Duvall to talk about growing up as a kid in Washington, D.C., and then moving to Atlanta in his teenage years, moving out of a place that had kind of a budding punk scene that Dave Grohl talks about growing up into, and then getting relocated to Atlanta that had really no punk scene at the time, and trying to find people that liked the same kind of music he did to try and put a band together. And we talked about his early bands. We talked about his songwriting. We talked about the powerful music and the heritage of the guys from The Who, and, their proud Mongolian lineage all the way back. They trace their lineage all the way back to Genghis Khan, which is kind of amazing. And so we talked about collaborating with them. We talked about designing his own guitar and kind of where the inspiration came from, which is a little scandalous. We talked about a lot of stuff. William Duvall is just so personable. He's so charismatic. He's one of those people that really, I could have talked to him about music for hours. And when I asked him the songwriting question that I always ask the guests on the podcast, some people have the hardest time answering that question. William Duvall, I think he rattled off a half a dozen songs and was like, and let me tell you why. And this is why. And here's this song. And like, he's such a music lover. He's such a fan of music. He's such a fan of the art form and the craft of songwriting, and can really look at other people's gifts and be able to recognize them, which is pretty spectacular. And so I am super excited that William Duvall from Alice in Chains is going to be joining us on the show. Let's see. Oh, wait, did Travis join us late, you slacker? Brianna, is that why you're telling him where we're all getting together? Post 4:35. Yeah, okay, you guys got it. You guys know. Talk amongst yourselves. Melissa says you could get hit from the backside of the storm. Good to see you back in the war room. Any new kits? Wait, who are you guys talking about? Are you guys talking to Travis? Who are you guys talking about? Travis says, I wasn't late. I know a guy at 4:35. All right, so this episode of the podcast goes live at midnight tonight. And of course, anytime on Wednesdays, you get new episodes of the podcast. But I got to remind you that every weekday, you also get the Situation Report. Not only are the full-length episodes of the podcast available on YouTube, but the Situation Reports are also available anywhere you listen to podcasts, and they're available on YouTube as well. And they're around 5 minutes long, and they run down all of the rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates. And they upload first thing in the morning. You can get caught up with everything that's going on, get about your day. It's around 5-6 minutes long, and they're always filled with a ton of info. And I always put the links in the show notes of the episode to make it easier for you guys to find the source material, to be able to read the full articles that I'm referencing in the stories. And want to remind you guys all of the places that you can access the Mistress Carrie podcast, all of these and the growing list. And like I said, the full episodes, all the sit reps, all of that, you can find on YouTube as audio players as well. The videos of the interviews are not up on YouTube, but the audio is up on YouTube, so that you can listen to the audio straight off of YouTube if you don't have any of these other apps or whatever. All right. We are still frozen at 149 countries. And if you missed the announcement last week, February of 2023, the Mistress Carrie podcast was the #1 podcast on the Pantheon Podcast Network. And like I said, this is because of you guys. It's because of you guys sharing the podcast episodes. It's because you guys are giving me 5-star reviews on all of the podcast outlets, that you're sharing the episodes with your friends that are fans of the bands that we have on the show. You guys are interacting with them. You are commenting. And so you guys are spreading the word about the podcast. And you're, again, manipulating those algorithms for all of the different podcast outlets so that my podcast is starting to show up as suggestions on other people's podcast apps. So if you listen on Apple, comment and leave a review on Apple. If you listen on Spotify, do the same so that it continues to spread and people continue to find out every week. Jessica says 149 countries. We are taking over the world. One country at a time, 100%. Travis says that is unbelievable, an amazing accomplishment. Let's see. So yeah, just super excited that the podcast is doing so well. And that's because of you guys. All right, let's talk about a bunch of stuff. We talked about Peter Gabriel and that concert tour that got announced. The tickets went on sale this past Friday, so they're on sale now. Peter Gabriel announced his whole tour, and that includes a stop at the TD Garden. I'm promoting it because I'm such a huge fan. He is an artist that if you have never seen him live, he's an artist that you need to go and see live before you can't go see him live anymore. So Peter Gabriel announcing his tour. A bunch of tours, by the way, got announced. Boston Calling, that is happening Memorial Day weekend. There's also another music festival that got announced, the Sound on Sound Music Festival that is happening in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I believe the Foo Fighters are on that one as well. Or is it the Red Hot Chili Peppers? It might be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, actually. That has been added to the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Sound on Sound in Bridgeport, Connecticut is happening September 30th and October 1st, whereas this is coming up Memorial Day weekend. And everything that we talk about here in the War Room is up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Big Night Live has got shows coming up fast. March 21st, next week. Static X with Dope and Fear Factory and Mushroom Head. That's going to be at Big Night Live. There's a chance that I might have to postpone next week's episode. I'll let you know if that's going to happen. Also, Vili Valu, who is from the band Him, is going to be at Big Night Live coming up April 2nd. Enslaved is there on April 6th. And Tarja is there on June 18th. All of those tickets are available right now, and all the details are up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The Xfinity Center has got the Dave Matthews Band on June 17th. Party Gras with Bret Michaels. That's also Night Ranger, Jefferson Starship, Mark McGrath. That's July 21st. Jelly Roll, August 4th. Foreigner and Loverboy. That is August 5th. Disturbed with Ginger and more bands to be announced. That's coming up on August 18th. Ghost on the Re-Imperator with Amon Amarth on August 19th. Nickelback on August 22nd. And again, more shows getting announced all the time. Jerry Cantrell at the Cabot Theater. That is coming up this week on St. Patrick's Day. So if you're not going to see the Dropkick Murphys, and I don't know if there are tickets left available, but you want to check details and the link to buy tickets on the concert calendar. That's March 17th. Blink-182, the reunion tour, May 21st at the TD Garden. And if you're not keeping tabs on Travis Barker and his finger surgery, he put up some pretty gruesome pictures. He had to have surgery on a ligament in his finger, and he put the surgical photos up on Instagram. But they're up there. Avatar is going to be at the Paradise Rock Club coming up May 24th. Anvil at the Middle East on April 1st. Aaron Lewis at Foxwoods April 22nd. Godsmack at the Mohegan Sun Arena on May 28th. Damn it, I fixed this last week. It's not Coheed and Cambria. It's Coheed and Cambria. If you're new to the show, typos mean a social. Cheers to you guys. Let's see. All right, back on track. At the Palladium, Steel Panther coming up fast, like this Sunday night. And by the way, this Steel Panther show, Crowbot is opening up the show. Get there early. Don't miss Crowbot. So this is happening Sunday night at the Palladium. Pop Evil coming up fast March 23rd. Queensryche April 7th. Nothing More April 8th. Wage War May 12th. Guys, this tour just got announced. Rival Sons. If you love rock music and you have never seen Rival Sons live, you are missing out on a fantastic band. Please go and see Rival Sons. They announced a bunch of dates. May 31st is at the Palladium in Worcester. Do not miss this band. I added all of the New England dates for Rival Sons, and any other tour that comes through, I'm adding all the New England dates. So whether they're up in Maine, whether they're in New Hampshire, up in Guilford or Concord or Derry, New Hampshire, whether they're in Hartford or New London or New Haven, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, All of the shows that are coming through New England are up on the concert calendar. Do not miss the Rival Sons, May 31st at the Palladium. Weezer's playing the Palladium outdoors on July 31st. Those tickets are already on sale. And if you haven't been to a show at the Palladium outdoors, it's outside, it's loud, and it's spectacular. The MGM Music Hall. All right, the Dropkicks are playing the 16th, 17th, and 18th. The 17th is the live stream starting at 8 p.m. worldwide. And that live stream is up as a separate event on the concert calendar. If you want the link to watch the Dropkicks live from Boston on St. Patrick's Day from the comfort of your very own home, pantsless, Keith, that link is up there too. And all of those tickets, if there's any left, are on sale now. Speaking of the MGM Music Hall, the Pixies are there June 8th. Les Claypool and the Flying Frog Brigade are there on June 29th. Yellowcard, July 9th. Noel Gallagher, July 15th. Mastodon and Gojira on August 20th. And Beck on September 5th. And then also at the House of Blues, the Dropkicks are there on the 19th. The Joe Perry Project is there on April 16th. Thrice is there on June 2nd. And the Struts, who are also another band playing a bunch of dates in New England. All of their dates are on the calendar. This date is at the House of Blues in Boston. Again, another great live rock and roll band. If you've never seen the Struts live, you don't want to miss them. New releases this week. This Friday is a huge day for new music. The new album from Pop Evil, Skeletons, is coming out. That's why Lee Kakati was just on the podcast talking about this record. The new Theory of a Dead Man record is coming out this Friday called Dinosaur. That's why Tyler Connolly from Theory was just on the podcast. U2's new album, Songs of Surrender, comes out this Friday, and I believe it's on Disney Plus that David Letterman is hosting a sort of homecoming, and it's Bono and the Edge bringing David Letterman to Dublin for the first time, and they're doing an exclusive live acoustic show at a legendary music venue in Dublin, and that's all around the promotion of the release of this new album, which is 40 songs. They're all U2 songs already that have been released, but they're reworked with new musical arrangements, new instruments, new melodies, new song lyrics. And that comes out on Friday. And also the Black Crowes are releasing Shake Your Money Maker live. This is a big day for new music coming up on Friday. Fantastic day for new releases. All right, mail call. Once again, because of the storm today, I didn't have power. I didn't have internet. I did not want to leave the house for fear of not even being able to do the show later. I just didn't want to get out on the roads. So no mail call this week because I wasn't able to check the mail today. And normally I check the mail the day of the War Room just in case somebody sent something at the last minute, but no mail today. So we'll pick it up where we left off next week. Okay. Want to remind you guys, Record Store Day is coming up April 22nd. That's the day the music industry supports locally owned brick and mortar record stores. And by the way, Record Store Day is up on the concert calendar as well. We've got a fantastic locally owned record store, Joe's Albums in Worcester. You can go in there and check the Mistress Carrie rack right up front. You can also get Mistress Carrie merch that's available at Joe's Albums. The guitar picks are on the way. They have been designed. This is what they look like. They are on order. Also want to tease to you guys that while there are coasters already available in the online store, those are the like the vinyl coasters, the purple coasters that say Mistress Carrie in them. I am in the design and testing stage of felt back slate coasters with the Cocktails in the War Room logo on them, veteran made. So we are in the design and sourcing and manufacturing level of production right now. And I'm hoping to have those in the store possibly by next month. So I'll let you know when we get closer to those. And we started doing this last week and I'm loving it. So if you got picks, Show me your MC. We're going to start doing this every week. And once I get up enough pictures to start an album, I'm going to create a new album. But I want to say what's up to Brian K., who had his Mistress Carrie koozie on Cocoa Beach watching the Rockets launch. And Show Me Your MC also had Denise in Vegas in her Mistress Carrie tank top. So you got to send me pictures. You can either email them to me, DM them to me through Patreon, post them up and tag the Mistress Carrie page on Facebook. Just find a way to get them to me. Contact me through the website. Just click the message the studio button and say, hey, how can I send you pics? But I want to see your MC. So if you got MC gear, if you got original Cocktails in the War Room shirts, if you got hoodies, beanies, pint glasses, shot glasses, take selfies with the gear and send them your way, or send them my way, excuse me. And I'm going to start putting them up on the website and up on social media. And I want to celebrate people every week here in the War Room showing me your MC. So thanks to Brian and to Denise for sending me pictures this week. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Yes, go and check out my rack, Shannon. Now, today for birthdays, not a lot. Quincy Jones, who, look, is a legend in his own right. But usually there's a whole list of people that share a birthday. And this is not a big day for musicians to be born on March 14th, which is kind of strange. So if today's your birthday, you share it with Quincy Jones. Cheers. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Rachel says, have you thought about doing resin coasters? I absolutely have. It's a matter of finding someone that can make them, and also finding out what else we can make out of resin as well. So if you guys are in business and you have an idea, reach out to me with an idea of something that you make that you'd be able to make enough of that we'd be able to sell in the store. But 100%, I'm always open to suggestion. I don't see her needing any protection. She would kill you. I don't even know what that means. Barbara says, oh my God, I wore my MC tank to the Taylor Hawkins tribute show in LA. Barbara, if you have pictures, send them. I want to see them. That's fantastic. Let's see. Hold on. What else is that? Michael, hasn't been announced yet. Still working on it. We'll let you know. Let's see. Brianna says, I've got some stuff in R&D phase for resin Mistress Carrie gear. Fantastic. Let me know when you're done the R&D phase and we'll figure it out, because it's all about, there's a lot that goes into it, just to kind of let you guys know. So I need to figure out how I'm going to package it and ship it. And if I have boxes, shipping materials, all of that stuff, I need to figure out, can the supply chain continue? Or is it something where it's only going to be a limited edition kind of release? Or is it something that if we sell them all, we can get more in? And also what it's going to cost to get them made by the supplier, and then also what it's going to cost to be able to sell them on the site as well. So there's a lot that goes into getting stuff up in the online store, but I am 100% open if you guys have got some ideas and you guys are in business where you actually produce products. I'm open if you guys got some ideas. Today is also Pi Day. That's right. So cheers to Pi Day, 3.14159. I only know back 6 digits. Mark says, I wore my War Room shirt under the long sleeves on a 5K this past weekend. Well, you can't wear it under. You got to wear it over and get pictures, Mark. War Room paint by numbers. Pretty hilarious. Cherry cobbler, says Jessica. So happy birthday. Want to remind you that if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, Our next exclusive live stream is coming up at the end of the month on the 26th at 7:30. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can submit podcast interview questions, because when I book guests, I let people in the War Room know so that they can submit questions. I also keep you up to date with my travel exploits and give you travel advice and places to go and see. You get early access to event tickets, or just early access to event info. In the case of the event coming up in May at the Legion, it wasn't access to the tickets before they went on sale. It was more just access to the info to block the day off, because the Backstage Pass holders knew before everybody. You also get early access to ticket giveaways. And if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you have access to free tickets to these shows at Big Night Live. So if you have a Backstage Pass, you know how to get the tickets. You got to message me through Patreon and let me know that you want to go to some of these shows, and we'll make it happen. Brianna says, y'all would be supporting a broke-ass, purple-haired veteran if I can get them looking just right. So that's the kind of stuff we want to do, Brianna. Absolutely. You could work with Table Talk Pies and sell War Room blueberry cobbler. Trina, if you know someone at Table Talk Pies, I am 100% behind the initiative to have limited edition Mistress Carrie blueberry cobbler for the War Room. I'm literally all about it because I freaking love Table Talk Pie. My personal favorite is their pineapple. That's just me. But if anybody's got a contact at Table Talk Pies, let me know. Let's see. 3D printing, that kind of stuff. If you come up with an idea that makes sense, that you can mass produce and get to me in enough numbers that I can put them up in the store, but it's got to be something that would be, like Mistress Carrie base. That's either the Mistress Carrie artwork, that's either the logo with just the flames, or this, or the War Room. But I am always looking for suppliers with cool ideas, even if it was just a limited run, like, hey, we're going to sell these and that's all that's left. But I'm always looking for new things that we can put up in the store that have the logos on them, for sure. Absolutely. Let's see. Barbara, you can use Mistress Carrie at mistresscarrie.com to send the Foo Fighters picture. That's fantastic. Mark says, I like pie that doesn't involve fruit. That pie doesn't involve cherries, Mark? Are you sure? Are you positive? Let's see. Does anyone know any local ice cream places that could get them to make a blueberry cobbler ice cream for the War Room? Rachel, there's got to be a place. Maybe a place that's only open in the summer. Maybe a place that would do like a limited run that's like blueberry cobbler ice cream. So it's got chunks of the cobbler crust too. Somebody's got to know a place. I'll call them. I'll set the whole thing up. It can be a limited run. Maybe we could do a cruise night and like some like Thursday night or Friday night where the War Room meets just for ice cream cones or something. That would be amazing. But yeah, guys, I am always, the only thing I'll ask is that you guys don't go out and talk to people without me and make promises that I can't keep. That's the only thing I'll ask. If you guys want to forward me the information or talk to the people at these businesses and say, hey, would you talk to Mistress Carrie about this or whatever? Totally fine. I just don't want you promising something and then it doesn't work out and then we all look like jerks. That's the only thing. All right. I love how positive tonight is, says Trina. We're celebrating our 3rd anniversary. A War Room booze cruise. Open to the suggestion. The thing with the booze cruise is you've got to be able to sell all the tickets. And they're really expensive. To do a War Room exclusive cruise, I would have to charter the boat ahead of time. And then if I don't sell all the tickets, I'm kind of stuck paying for the cruise. So that would kind of suck. Amanda says your stories helped with the COVID lockdown. Blake's Ice Cream in Manchester, New Hampshire, says Heinz. Guys, feel free if you've got contacts at these places, just message them to me and I have no problem calling them. Or if you know the people directly that own them, like personally know them, make the connection for me. That would be great. I have been away for over a year, says Joe. Well, we're happy to have you back. Donna says tax write-off. Not the kind of tax write-off I need, Donna. Not at all. Not that big of a tax write-off to charter a boat. Nope. Absolutely not. All right. Remind everybody of where you guys can find me on social. And another reminder that the podcast is now available on my official YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, definitely make sure you do that. If you don't have a YouTube account, just get a YouTube account. Super easy. Subscribe to the Mistress Carrie YouTube channel. And obviously you can find me Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and Patreon. All right, guys. Oh, wait. Hold on. Look who's awake. Are you awake over there, Nugget? Come here. No, she's exhausted from the snow. She's not happy, and she's napping. There you go, Wednesday. Do you want to just nap for the rest of the show? Is that what you want to do? You just want to sleep? Are we keeping you awake? We're obviously keeping her awake. All right, guys. It's a long episode tonight, but I think it was worth it. Our 3-year anniversary. So one more time, raise a glass. 3 unbelievable years. There's no way I could have predicted 3 years ago that we would be where we are. So I can't even begin to imagine where we're going to be next year or 3 years from now. So cheers to you guys. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. It's been an unbelievable 224 episodes, and I couldn't have done any of it without you. So good night, guys. Happy 3rd anniversary. And don't forget episode 145 of the Mistress Carrie podcast with William Duvall from Alice in Chains goes live at midnight tonight. Wednesday. You want to say good night? Good night, Wednesday.